All right, so Dominic, over to you now.
All right, thank you, Evans, for that discussion there. We'll start right away from our Abuja, and my guests are already seated in the studio. I'll start with my far right there. We have Yusuf Madaki. He is from the oil marketers. I'll also be looking at the subsidy removal and the increase in the new fuel subsidy. Just closer to my right here is our popular or regular in-house analyst. Adefolarin Olamilekan is an economics, political economics, and an in-house analyst, like I said earlier. But let me begin with you, Madaki. You are in the oil markets. You are a major dealer in oil markets, and people are already pointing fingers to your organization that people are being insensitive to the plight of Nigerians by what happened yesterday. Please, can you put us in the picture? What exactly is going on? Why do we suddenly just woke up and there's an increment in the new pump price of petrol?
That's beautiful. Okay, thank you. Then good morning to us. I'll begin by wishing all Muslims all over the world happy new Islamic calendar year. As you said, definitely people are pointing fingers on the marketers, but it's just because they are not in the system. And the reality is, based on our previous analysis on the 3rd July, I made mention that as far as the exchange rate will keep on going on, and the marketers were given the license to import the petroleum product, definitely the price of petroleum product will not come down. Now, look at what happened. Last week, the marketers or the dealers exhausted the reserve that NNPLC have been alerting that they have finished their reserve. So we have exhausted what is on ground. Now it's a new product with the dollar increase plus the closure of the I&E window is what contributed this, because you don't expect to go and buy something at high cost and be selling it at lower cost. As far as I'm concerned, you are in business to make profit. So they got dollar at high rate. They went for the importation. They import the product. Definitely, it must affect the price of that product. This is what.
But the NNPCL said they have enough product on ground. It's not due to shortage that we're having this price, just like you mentioned.
At what price?
Well, at what price have you been buying?
It's a new product. Even the NNPCL now, they are going by the what? By the current exchange rate. So, and it's all about importation. As I said earlier, that all the factors that will determine the price are external factors, in the sense that dollar is the #1 determinant that will determine the price of crude oil in the international market itself, not even in Nigeria, because we trade internationally as dollar is the yardstick of the transaction. So the dollar rate is always at the increasing side. So, and the product we have on ground is a new product. After they made that statement somewhere it was on the 2nd of July. So the product on ground is a new product which was imported when the dollar is on the high side.
So how do you get your product? Because I understand that with the new market regime now, anybody can import its products, and then that will determine also the price. If you're able to get it at a cheaper rate, that might also affect how you want to sell to the general public. So how do you get your product that will determine your price? If, for instance, you made mention of the dollar, if country A is selling probably less than country B, how do you go about it so that you make sure that you don't overshoot your price?
Something we must put into consideration. Number one, as you have said, how do we obtain our products? It's not all the marketers that have the power or the ability to import.
Okay.
They depend on some other marketers' importation. So your price must be based on the what? The price that is being fixed by the importer that product. So when the major marketers import, the minor will go and get the product from them. both the major and the minor, they are into business to make profit. So you don't expect maybe a very big company, you know, that's there is discrimination in the price. Some places you will see 720, while some you see what 620, while some stations you will see 617. It's because of the what? It's because of their ability and the power and the strength of their company. If the company is very strong and it's very big, they can use what we call elasticity of price in order to determine to sell more by pricing less. So that's why there is price discrimination. If you go to station A, maybe you'll find it's different from station B. So our customers are always going for the what? For the less price. That's just what is happening in the sector.
All right, let me bring you in. The issue now is beyond just we ordinary Nigerians. Like he explained now, most people out there will not want to listen. That's not what they want. All they want is I should be able to buy this product at a lesser price. Now, the period at which we have this increment is less than 2 months, and Nigerians are grooming. Should we be grooming or should we be asking questions? I don't understand.
I think we need to ask questions. The first question we need to be asking is that why is it that refineries are not working? I want to excuse the man or the oil marketers who are seated with us that we should not say categorically that it's because of dollars that refineries falling. Number one, OPEC is a major producer of crude oil. OPEC use production quotas to control price. And when they do that, they do it in the essence not to flood the market with too much of the goods. So in that way, the price, they will not use the opportunity to jack up the price. The more they withhold their production, the more people will sell higher. But when they put out the production, people sell higher. So it's not about maybe because of the dollar. Rather, it is the supply, demand, and approach of OPEC in terms of exploration. Right now, they are giving every member of their country quotas. But all of a sudden, 2 weeks ago, OPEC dropped their quotas and said, like for instance, Nigerians should not produce the 2.6 million they gave them per day. They should come down a little. They gave other countries like that so that they can be able to control the price in the international market. Our challenge is that we are suffering for what we call international price transmission of oil prices. In a sense that since we cannot refine locally, we have to suffer for it. And that is the question we are asking the government. Why is it that we have to import? Why is the government have to give people 50 people, a company 50 license to import PMS at this period? And out of them, 10 are committed. Only 3 are now importing. Minus the major marketers that our brothers here will understand. The more major marketers or companies that will normally import, like if you permit me to mention the major marketers, you know them, the Mobile, AP, they import on their own. They are not waiting for these guys to be part of them. NMPC, they don't even wait for NMPC. That's why if you go to their place, you see their price fluctuation, as you rightly point, the elasticity of price, 617, 620. But the challenge is that since we are not refining, this is where we are going to subject our people to, by what? Importation. And that is why people like them will say, okay, it's because of dollar. Then if it is because of dollar, why didn't the price go to 700? Because currently now, in IRE window, which is opening, which is operating, is between 650 to 700 naira per dollar. But it is not like that. But because of the forces of whereby you import, government collect taxes on importation from the landing and the loading. And for people like them that are up north operating as oil marketer, they know that it is the price differentiation in terms of transportation cost that will make the price jump up to where it is. So for people saying it is dollar, no, dollar is one thing, but it's not the real cost.
So are you saying that dollar cannot be a determinant for what we are facing?
To
now?
the level that what they are pointing it is not the determinant. The determinant is the OPEC quotation of our country produce the crude oil and how the market will react to it in terms of buying and selling. And that's why you see that the NNPC GMD was saying it is market forces. And when businessmen tell you it is market forces, it's as a result of what? Supply and demand. But as you rightly pointed that they want to make profit. That is just it.
Yeah, I see you are itching to make maybe a defense to what he's saying.
I just want to come in. You say dollar is not the
major determinant.
The major determinant. Where when you say OPEC deal with the production. But as a marketer that you want to go and buy, you can decide to go to any country. So you don't bother to know whether Nigeria is producing so quantity tending to the oil, the OPEC or not. Some country, you will use other countries' quota to buy your product. So we are talking on importation. Country A, B, C can produce. This will go to country B, the other one will go to country C. So I don't think that quota or rationing can serve as the major determinant. But as a marketer, you use dollar to go to the market and buy product. If you like, you can go to Dubai if they have the product, depending on where you want to go. So as far as I'm concerned, when you say OPEC, the OPEC are dealing directly with the country, not the marketers or the composition of the country. They are dealing with the country's production because it's an association or it's a cartel. Let me just put it as a cartel. So they are dealing directly with the country, not the marketers. Marketer can decide to go to, they can decide to not to go to the same country massive.
I think
and they can benefit from it.
I like the argument you put for, it's very good that we understand, okay, OPEC deal with crude oil. Now, in the crude oil, there are 7 particles in the crude oil, minus PMS. There is diesel, there is the jet oil, there is the ethanol. They are all byproduct of what? Crude oil. How come is at this point that we normally concentrate that it is dollar that is determining PMS? Now, when crude oil is being sold across the world, find the product, they get other byproducts they also sell. Now, we import the PMS, but we have our own refineries that are dead. The argument is that, just like you pointed out in the first question, we should be asking questions. Why come that our refineries are not working? That we have to depend on importation? And me, I'm saying here that we should not just be saying, because the excuse that has become a mystery for us to unravel in our oil and gas sector is that marketers, businessmen in that sector will always tell you it is as a result of Forex. But we know that it is not just Forex that is the problem. It is as a result of you people who want to make profit at the same time. But government also have a role in it. How which landing costs and the landing costs and the loading costs, government can work on their own tax aspect. They pay freight. They pay taxes to NPA. As the ship is coming, they pay freight. They pay for all the agencies of government there. By the time they calculate all these costs together, it gives them the price that they are going to take from the depot. As we speak right now, at the depot price is about 480 something naira.
That's why I say dollar is the major determinant. I did not say it's the only factor, but I say it's the major determinant. Now, assuming you imported a petroleum product with high rate. And due to the increase in the fuel, in the price per liter, the sales has dropped drastically. And you work or compute your profits by the end of the month. I bet you over 45 filling stations are making loss. It's just that you are not in the sector, you will not understand. Because if you calculate the profit for the month, the expense you will incur, our electricity is not stable, power is not stable. You must work with generator, you must pay your staff. There are some expenses that are attached to. So when you calculate the profit for the month, you will not be able to pay for salary massive because the sales has dropped. A filling station that sells like 50,000 liters is now battling with 15,000 liters a day. So
from your analysis, I know that Nigerians will not want to listen that these are the factors. All they want is they want to know why we must buy fuel at a very high price. But you've given a breakdown of the reasons why we're having this, just like Ade was trying to explain the OPEC, how the OPEC factor plays in and all that. But why is it that it's always fuel that we're always having these contentious arguments about once there is an increment in petroleum products? Like you mentioned, the crude oil that is being exported out of Nigeria has different components of it. But once you come to fuel importation, it's always a problem.
It's because it has high demand. And it's something that is regulated. There is price regulation over it. And the government did not do the expected as expected because they mean our refineries are working. We don't need to be importing fuel from other countries. So the interest, cars is now necessities, not even luxury to some people. And most of the people is like that because for school running and all that transport and everything. So that's why there is always issues on the petroleum products, fuel in particular. So now, the demand is high. Even though these days the demand is there, I can say
Of course, people cannot afford it again, so they have to park their cars.
Has pushed the demand down because the customers, the processor is always going down. So they don't have the power to go and assess. Even if they will assess, it's in minute quantity in such a way that it will soon finish, and for somebody to go back and get it. So the issue is on petroleum product because it's the only product that has high demand. So when there is high demand, definitely interest will be so high on it. So as far as government did not make our refineries working, this problem will not stop. Because that subsidy removal is just like blocking maybe 2 holes and opening 5. That's just the truth.
I really like the argument.
Well, let's get your thought, because it seems you are not always in agreement with his defense.
My concern is, we have pointed it, it's about profit. But the other angle they will use to cover up that it is not profit is they talk about dollar. Now, last year, 2022-2021, crude oil price fall down to $20. How come our naira was still as high as 350, 400? Nobody was talking that it was forex, but the crude oil price fell down.
And then they were still enjoying subsidy.
They still enjoying subsidy. So that's why I say it is not the forex that is making you people to bring this high price. It is just because the business environment. You have even pointed out something. You guys use generator to power some of your stuff. So it is about the cost of operation within your environment that is bringing.
I want you to understand something. You are basing your analysis on the international price. You say that one is intergovernmental transaction. I don't know if you understand. It's intergovernmental transaction.
You know why I would not agree to that? Very soon, OPEC will still increase its production quota for all their members.
So once they do that now, it means the price will come down.
Then we will not ask them. You guys have been saying it is forex. Then you are saying iron and wind window is not. Then why is the issue is, let's just point it out, it is all about profit.
If the tomorrow happens, then you should blame the government because they are supposed to regulate.
They are already the regulation will not be there for
let's wait for the tomorrow. You say tomorrow when the dollar has dropped.
But I know the JMD yesterday said with this market factor that is playing in, we might see increase or decrease in terms of petroleum in the prices in the coming days. Is that what we should be expecting? Would there come a time that this thing will come below where it is now?
Yes.
How would that play out?
Because of the interaction between the demand and supply. And ability of some marketers to assess the product at a lower rate. Because marketers has their own way. If marketer A can get it at cheaper rate and marketer B can get it at higher, definitely their price they can differentiate the price. So that competition will bring the price down.
Okay.
As it is now. We used to do market survey and look at our neighbor before we can fix the price. Let me pick is little bit lesser than their own in order to enjoy the elasticity of price.
Let me bring in Evans from our Benin Network studio. He has a question, one or two for Madaki here, who is from the oil marketers section. I know you get him. Evans, if you're listening, Madaki is waiting for your question.
Dominic, yeah, when we hear people talk from Abuja, we listen to them. All right now. All right, thank you so much, Dominic. Now, when we hear people talk from Abuja, we listen to them with all rapt attention in Benin because they are close to government. Perhaps the government is not telling Nigerians the truth. That's the way some Nigerians say it. Now, my question is directed to Madaki. Now, what do you make of the whole scenario? Now, government trying to peg price for a product, that it does not really have control over. The petrol has been deregulated. There's no doubt about that. I mean, hence we talk about fuel subsidy removal and all that. But for the government to still want to insist through its agency now that fuel should be sold at certain price and all that, what do you make of it? Nigerians are feeling that government is not telling Nigerians the truth. Madaki, I want you to respond to that.
Okay, the petroleum sector has been deregulated, and the reality is that we can't go out of control. Whether we like it or not, there must be government control in that sector. That's why we have price ceiling, what we call price ceiling and price floor. The marketers will set the price ceiling, and in fact the market will set it for them. Because as you obtain your product, definitely you cannot sell below that price. But still government need to come in and make price ceiling that price should not exceed also amount. For instance, now petroleum product is 620, 617 naira. So at least government need to set a little bit price, little bit higher than that it should not exceed. So a marketer that is ready to be in the market, whenever he got a product at a lower rate, definitely it will not even reach that 600 massive. Because whoever enter into the business is ready to make profit, and whoever want to make profit, definitely he must want to sell his product. So government has some to do again in that sector by making the price ceiling. Price should not exceed also amount.
Okay, I think Evans was trying to find out from me whether government should continue to regulate the price. So what's your own take on that?
I think for now, with government and PI, the PIA is available. Petroleum Industrial Act has already removed government ceiling price, because it was the price ceiling cap that government was introducing that brought about our so much among God spending on subsidy. So government now discovered that, okay, if we put price ceiling, marketers will come back and claim and do some claims, because we put price ceiling and we are now making incur. A good example is like I was pointing out the crude oil price stuff and crude the dollar that is, they are always pointing that. By the time a dollar is now a naira to a dollar is now added with 2 naira or 3 naira, they will come back and say we have incurred a loss. So government should come and pay, and that is now the beginning of genesis of what we call the subsidy issue, so where we now have a humongous money being spent on subsidy.
Do you know the funny thing, but the funny thing is that NNPCL are the first filling station to change their price.
Yesterday,
yes. Because in fact, some NNPC filling stations did not open for operation till after they announced the change in price. Why? If government will pay the NNPCL staff, the GMD of NNPC is also a government staff, then why? Then let them scrap them.
Well, gentlemen, I know this discussion is going to linger.
The reality is, if we can sell at the same price with the NNPCL, then no need for government to pay their staff. Let them scrap them out.
I know this discussion will linger for a very long time until we get it right in our country. But this is where we draw the curtain for today's discussion. I've been talking with Madaki Yusuf is here in the FCT, and our own Adefolarin Olamilekan, an economics, a political economics, and also an in-house analyst with us. Very good, you guys again, and thank you for being on the show. Well, Evans, I think this is where we're cutting. If you can hear me for today's edition. Yes, Evans.
About it, Nigerians will always ask questions, and it behoves on the government of the day to ensure that they give adequate explanations to the questions that Nigerians are asking. I mean, they should bring it to the very language, the simplest language that Nigerians can understand, so that we don't get ourselves into unnecessary confusion and anguish and pain. I mean, a citizenry that is confused is bound to be angry. Of course, once the citizens are angry, I don't know what can happen. So we just hope and pray that, I mean, I'm speaking from the standpoint of, a citizen that is bearing the pain now, that is, feeling the pain too. So we just hope and pray that the government of the day should look inward and see how they can really ameliorate all these pains that Nigerians are going through.
All right, I think that's what we should be looking at as a country. But we just hope that people will not take the law into their hands, because, like you said, Nigerians are angry over the whole incident. If you go through most of the media, like the headlines you took this morning, you understand that it's not easy for everyone who drives into the filling station to get fuel. Like what Madaki was saying earlier, some filling stations are not even selling the products as it stands. So we just hope that the government will do what is immediately for us to get out of this situation where we find ourselves. Well, on behalf of my co-presenter here in Abuja, Juliet Dangiwa, and the rest of the crew, who are making sure that we reach your home screen, we'll say very good morning to you, and thank you for investing your time with us from our Abuja Network studio.
Also to on behalf of all of us here in Benin, we say thank you for watching the program today. Tomorrow the same program returns on this television. My name is Evan Sunofoge. Goodbye and God bless you.